plaintiff, Jeannie James, was friends with the defendant, and he was always the life of the party. However, Jeannie claims she soon realized he was nothing but a liar, and she believes he even lied about having cancer to get out of repaying her. She's suing for the cost of a trip. Defendant Jovan Vaughn says he and Jeannie were good friends, but after he moved in with her, he became more of a therapist than a friend. Jovan claims Jeannie would often cry to him for hours on end about her bad relationships, and he denies owing her for a trip.
Give me some background.
I met Jovan in 2009. We became really good friends. He was always the life of the party. I trusted him. It turns out he's nothing but a liar. He will pretty much lie about anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure he lied about having stage 3 lung cancer in order to get out of paying this debt. And I have text messages here.
Okay, we'll look at that shortly. Did you all date or something?
No, we were just friends.
Did you know all this stuff before you loaned him your money?
No, I did not. We were great friends.
So are there other things you've concluded he has lied about other than the money involving this?
The money and I'm guessing the stage 3 lung cancer.
Okay. When did he tell you that? After the debt came due?
Yes, this was after the debt, definitely.
All right. And aside from that, you had no problems with your friendship?
No problem at all.
Until he failed to meet his obligation here. Sir, you give me some background.
So, in specifics to this, we did meet in 2009, as she said. I met her because her friend was a bartender at a place I was working at, and they came up for a party and had fun. Me and Jeannie hit it off. She was fun. She was fun to hang out with. She could hold her liquor. She was a lot of fun to hang and be around. So we were together and friendly, and I ended up staying in Reno over the time I was planning to be there, and ended up actually partially living in her house with her. When I lived with her off and on, which was basically staying between two people's houses as I was deciding what I was going to do, I decided I hated Reno because it's kind of like a low-rent Vegas, and it just wasn't my space. But in that process...
Where are you living now?
I live in Savannah, Georgia, which is definitely not low rent. And they were, I mean, it was during the financial issues that our country was having, so I couldn't find work there at all. So I just had no money there. It made no sense for me to stay there, so I left and went to New York. But anyhow, I mean, once I started hanging out with her and like actually living in the house and seeing her on a day-to-day basis, I, liked her a lot, but I also noticed that she had a penchant for unsuccessful relationships and being with people that were that didn't treat her very well, and so it would turn into hour-long, 3-hour-long, 4-hour-long. Why do they hate me? What's wrong with me? What's my problem? Blah blah blah. And I became a therapist, not a friend. So we then, I guess it was maybe a year after I had left and dealt with some of my own issues.
How long did you stay there?
I was at her house off and on. I think it was a period of about a month. It only took about 3 weeks to really hate Reno. Like, it only really took about 3 weeks. It actually took 2, but the other week was trying to get the hell out of there. I tried to be a good friend. I tried to talk to her. I trusted her. I misunderstood some issues with this situation. And when I tried to repair that, there was no friendship left. So, I mean, really...
Give me the details of why you're suing him for a trip, $2,000.
So in June of 2011, he had called me. He had just gotten out of jail, and he had called me and stated...
To your knowledge?
I have no idea what he went to jail for, Your Honor.
That's crap. You do know why I went to jail. I told you the whole story of why I went to jail.
What do you think you'd like
better,
jail or Reno?
Jail was a lot better than Reno.
Terrible. I've never been to Reno, but I assume it's a fine place.
The people there are great. It's a great city. There's great things for people that like to be there. For me, it was...
He said he told you what he went to jail for.
I do not recall him telling me what he went to jail for.
He called you from jail?
He called me when he got out of jail and told me that he was thinking about going on a trip. And I said, well, hey, so am I. I'm going to be turning 35 and I want to go on a trip for my 35th birthday. We decided we were going to go on a trip, and I asked him, where do you want to go? And he stated, well, I'm a convicted felon, so I need to go somewhere in the United States of America. And I said, okay. And he said, let's go to St. Thomas. And I said, cool, let's do it. And at that point, he had stated that he did not have the money to pay for it at that point in time. And I stated that I would pay for it, for the trip up front, as long as he promised to pay me back. So on November 2nd, 2011, I booked the trip on my credit card, and I have the information for that right here as well.
Please, how much?
The total trip just for the resort was $3,306 for both people.
What was his share?
His share was $1,803. His flight wound up being $459, and I have the receipt here for that as well.
When was he to repay these? Let me see the receipt, please.
Well, while we were in St. Thomas, he wrote me a promissory note stating that he would have the total amount paid off by June 30th, 2012. I have the promissory note here as well.
See it, please. What discussions have you had since that time?
Since that time, it's been excuses of money orders going missing. It's
The misunderstandings he was saying you all had.
exactly.
Let me allow him to tell me. Sir?
I'm sorry, I don't.
She's suing you
Yes.
for
I'm sorry, I totally, I'm so sorry.
$1,803.
That's correct.
For which
And a plane
is the
ticket.
actual, no, don't interrupt me now. You act like you didn't know why you were being sued. The accommodations and lodging and the transportation. And she said you didn't pay. That's why you're here.
And I apologize for interrupting you, Your Honor, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, high on island weed, after we'd been drinking all day for 2 days straight, that's not a promissory note. That was, will you stop bothering me about this so we can enjoy this vacation and we'll deal with it.
Who told you
Before we
that?
ever went on the vacation.
Who told you that?
Well, I mean,
Oh, you told yourself. Go ahead.
I agreed to give her something to say, here, this is what we'll do. If I write it down, when you leave me alone about it,
All
let
right.
me enjoy
You've
this.
changed your mind. Why?
During the entire time, I told her every time she called me or texted me in regards to this situation, I replied to her and told her what I was doing at that moment. I would say, if I get paid this amount on this date, then great, I can do this, all right?
Why would you pay somebody you don't think you owe?
I felt like she was my friend, and I was trying to be a good friend.
No, you
and
said
I was trying to
pay.
do.
You didn't say give a gift. You said pay. Pay means you owe. You only pay when you
I
owe.
thought the thing was a gift. I thought our vacation was
Then
a
why
gift.
did you say you would pay her?
Because that's what she asked it of me. That became the
And
requirement.
you agreed to pay.
After she.
Whenever it was.
forced it.
Well, you did it on here and then you agreed later. So you did it twice. So what legal defense do you have today to not paying for something you agreed to pay for on 2 occasions?
I believed that I owed for my plane ticket, and I agreed with her on that. I did not believe that I owed the $1,800 for a vacation. I have put payments towards it. I had already paid about $200
pay it
towards
off?
it. Not yet. I'm still working on it.
What defense do you have to that?
I was unemployed for a very
Still
long time.
unemployed?
No, I've got a job now.
How long you been working?
About 6 months.
All right. And ma'am, he says he only agreed to pay the airline fee, even though he has this, and he says the reason he signed this because you had him locked in the room whining and crying, and so he signed this, and he was high off of weed and all the other excuses. So what do you say to this and the discussions later that went on?
It was emailed to me. It shows the time, and I believe the time on that is 6 o'clock in the evening, not 4 a.m. I also have a text message here that states, I want nothing more than to pay you in full. And I have receipts here of 2 payments of $50, one in March and one in January of 2013.
He's going to say pay you in full, meaning the airline fee.
No, it was not the airline fee.
And I don't see the time on there, you say.
Let's see here. 446. Yep.
Vacation contract for repayment, 4:46 p.m. Yeah, I guess you were so high you didn't know the difference between a.m. and p.m.
I only got one word now, Your Honor. Daylight gets confusing.
Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I hope you're happy. I hope you got everything you needed. I hope you'll be blessed in your life.
Same with you.
Maybe you'll find a boyfriend that's not married. So, that's all I'm
I already
hoping
have
for you.
one.